What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. It's Thursday night. It's 9 o'clock. It's me, the bald, the beard, the beautiful Piers Austin, and we are brought to you by the MWA Podcast Network. Guys, we have a great show for you tonight, so I want everyone to sit back, crack yourself a cold one, pour yourself a stiff one, roll yourself a green one if that's the way you roll, baby, but sit back, relax, because tonight my guest is the original greaser, the man with the three largest legs in professional wrestling, Robbie Zuko. But before I bring on Robbie, I just want to take a quick moment to thank some of those sponsors of ours that help us keep the lights on here and keep things going. First up is the WrestlingUniverse.com. Now, guys, let me tell you about the Wrestling Universe, guys. This is your one-stop shop for all your wrestling merchandise. They have all kinds of WWE, TNA, WCW, UFC, ECW, AWE, action figures, past and present. They carry heaps and heaps of all different types of t-shirts, wrestling cards, autographed 8x10s, masks, belts, and much, much more. They also have in-store signings with some of the biggest names in professional wrestling like Darby Allin, Sting, Kurt Angle. They've also had in there Sabu, they've had in the Sandman, and guys, the list goes on and on. If you're in the New York area, they have 3 stores in New York. Go and check them out. Go see a signing. But if you don't live in New York, you want to buy something, you can go to their website at thewrestlinguniverse.com. They ship internationally, so head there, guys, and check out the store today. But guys, next up is Sleeves.com. Now, Sleeves.com, if you are an athlete or someone you know is an athlete, you need to go to Sleeves.com. They've got arm sleeves, compression pants, compression shorts, socks, sneakers. They've even got dirty boxes. I'm wearing a pair of these dirty boxes right now, and they are the most comfortable underwear that I fucking own, guys. What are you waiting for? Head over to sleeves.com, use promo code MWAPOD, and get a 10% discount on your final purchase. But guys, also, we can't forget about healthvape.com. Now, guys, if you're a smoker or you're a vapor and you want to get vapor, is that what you call it, vapor? Or yeah, we'll go with it. But if you want to quit that, check out healthvape.com. They offer and sell a wide range of healthy vaping alternatives, and their vapes are also vitamin infused. So guys, check out healthvape.com today and you will not be disappointed. Use promo code MWAPOD to save 10% off your final purchase. But guys, you know what? I really need to touch base and let everybody know about some of the amazing shows that we have here on the MWA Podcast Network. There's Killing the Business with former ECW original, which is every Saturday at 10 a.m. Australian time, which is Friday night, 8 p.m. USA Eastern. If you've seen Killing the Business, you know what Angel's like, and there's no holding back with Angel. He is a bad motherfucker. He's funny as fuck. But you know what, guys? We do have to pull in the reins with Angel a little bit. But check out, Killing the Business every Saturday at 10 a.m. Friday. That's 10 a.m. Australian time, and Friday at 8 p.m. USA Eastern. You will not be disappointed. But guys, while you're at it, also go and check out Get Funked, hosted by Alan Kiwi Funk, the former WCW and TNA star. He has weekly guests on from all of his buddies from the WCW Power Plant days, his time in TNA as well. So he has a lot of great guests, and these guys come on, they shoot the shit. No pun intended from this show, but they have amazing conversations and rehash, and it's like going back in history. So if you're a WCW fan, that is a show you do not want to miss. But guys, we also got you covered with Nights of the Gimmick Table as well. That's every Sunday, 9 p.m. USA Eastern, Monday at 11 a.m. Australian time. Check out that show. That's hosted by my boys, the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. Guys, you won't be disappointed in any of those shows, so go and check them out today. I can see we got a few people in the audience tonight. We got Josh. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Blue Eye Brandy. Look, without further ado, I think I'm going to bring out our guest of the evening, the man with the 3 largest legs in professional wrestling, Robbie Zuko. Robbie, thanks for coming on, brother.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's really glad to have you on, man. I've been wanting to have you on for a long time, and it's been great to actually, actually get to catch up with you at a couple of shows that we've both been on, man. And, man, thank you for coming on tonight.
No, you're welcome. I appreciate the intro as well. I liked it a lot, but it goes more like this, you know. I am the Italian stallion, the king ding-a-ling, the man with the 3 largest legs in professional wrestling, Mr. Tripod himself, and of course the man that's hung like a horse, Robbie, the original greaser, Zuko.
Man, why didn't you tell? I would have done that at the show, man. You should have told me, bro.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right.
Maybe a bit much for men.
Maybe it's a PG show, right?
Exactly, man. Well, this is an unrated show, bro. So this is uncensored. So you have no restrictions on you tonight for whatever you want to say, dude. But you know, Robbie, we were talking just before we came out here, man, and I actually was saying that I was at your first match some 20 years ago, man, and you know, for you to be someone who's been in the business for this long and a pretty much a namesake and one of the biggest stars in Australian wrestling, you know, what's been one of the main things that's been able to keep you going for that 20-year period?
Oh, wow. I think it's the actual the up and coming talent that's coming up. You know, the more and more they do it, the more and more keen they get. I get motivated when I actually work with really, really good talent. You know what I mean? And there was a stage there we had guys that, you know, 4 or 5 guys in our company that took it, you know, semi-serious and or serious. But now everybody's taking it serious, which is kind of a cool thing to do. So, you know, they're training a lot more. We used to only train 1 day a week. So it's just that's what motivates me, is the fact that, you know, I'm dealing with also a different kettle of fish of wrestlers. So yeah, that's the fun thing.
Where do you think the change in Aussie wrestling went from being people that were taking it more seriously? When did that sort of evolve?
Oh God. I really don't know. It's something. Yeah, I think when you know, the younger companies came in, like when Rock and Roll and the PWAs, IWA's now got a lot of younger group of guys. When they came in, I think that's when it started to grow a bit more in sense of, you know, the actual wrestling side of things got a bit more serious. Even though it was back then, we focused a lot more on entertainment, where now they're just training every day. Yeah, I'd say maybe close to 8 years ago, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that was the sort of the shift in it.
Yeah, so that's when I think it was roughly. I think the time when we started to see, you know, Robbie Eagle start to shine, you know, and then everyone started to follow. So.
Oh, 100%, man. But, you know, starting your career, you started out as Rob Matrix, and, you know, and now the character, you know, morphing into, you know, Robbie Zuko, which is, you know, anyone who has seen your earliest.
Don't forget this guy. I had them. I had. You want to try some of my salami? You remember Mr. Numero Uno? He was one of my alter egos as well. So he was in between.
So, you know, what made you go from being, because like Rob Matrix, the character, was really over with the crowds. Like when I was going to shows, like you were like a really hot baby face, you know, in the company in IWA back then. What made you decide to go from being Rob Matrix to Rob Zuko?
I think it comes down to you have to evolve with anything. You kind of get too stale from doing the same stuff over and over again. I do love being a babyface, but in order for me to transition, I had to go full heel and work on my gimmick and my character. And now I can use them as both, you know, if I really wanted to. But yeah, it's one of those things where I got stale, as you all do, and then you try and search for a new gimmick, and you know, it became more natural to me because look at me, I'm a greaseball. You know,
and like
it's so at home for me. You know, it's so easy to do for me. It's part of me.
Yeah.
You seen The Wanderers?
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Are you a fan of like?
That's where it came from. It wasn't from Greece, as what people think, but it was the whole Greaser gimmick. It was the Wanderers, the Outsiders, all those guys. That's what made me go, I've always felt that I was one of those guys. I'll try and do that, so yeah, that was it.
How did promoters and your colleagues sort of take to you when you sort of did, because that's a, like, after seeing both gimmicks live, like it's like that's a huge jump, you know what I mean? Like how did everyone perceive that? Were they like, has he lost his mind here? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, at first, unless when I tried to introduce it to him, it wasn't taken too kindly. But once they saw it and they realized, hang on, it's actually more of a flamboyant character than what I had previously. And then as they heard the entrance music and the way I did things and just added those extra details, I think it became much more entertaining from the fans' point of view. So, yeah.
Yeah. And, around what time did you sort of go into the Zuko character?
When was it? Was it about 4 years ago? It wasn't that long ago.
This is still a new thing.
I'm about 15 years too late.
But I think as well, like if you had done it earlier on in your career, like do you think it would have had the same effect, like from a guy like who's 19, 20 years of age?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I probably would have changed gimmicks. I would have been the salami character for as we speak. So I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh man, but you also got opportunities when you were younger to go over into the States. You wrestled with the Heartland Wrestling Association, which I believe at the time was a WWE developmental territory.
Oh,
and
man,
and I was just going to say, even at that time, Australians going over and doing that was fucking huge. Like I remember hearing about it and going, whoa, that's.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. There was OVW and then there was Heartland Wrestling. We had all the who's who of indie wrestlers in our company. You know what I mean? So you had no choice but to get good, hanging out with them, wrestling them after shows, wrestling for an extra hour, just, learning to chain, learning to wrestle. I mean, you had the Dean Ambroses, the Nigel McGuinnesses, the Eli Drakes, Cody Hawks. They're just incredible, not sure if you heard of Chad Collier. So Chris Hero was there from time to time. And just the guys they were all good, so you had no choice but to be good. And if you're not good, you weren't going to be on their shows.
Who was coaching the guys down there?
It was Les Thatcher originally, but he sold, and it was Cody Hawk. If you don't know Cody Hawk, you probably should look him up.
XPW Deathmatch guy, I think. He was. That's where he got his name, because he started it, or he got his name in XPW as Altar Boy Luke, I think.
No. This guy, he what stood out about him, not just the fact that he was a trainer, he had all these other great wrestlers around him, but the ability that he worked on the fly and the way he taught everything was always on the fly, and just the small little things that he'd come up with on how to call stuff out there. And he was just incredible. He was one of those guys that never got picked up, but he also did shows for WCW or WWE every now and then, did spots
there's two Luke Hawkses. That's why I think I got them confused. I think I know the one you're talking about now. He's a
Cody Hawk.
Cody Hawk. Sorry, yeah, that's it. Yeah. My apology.
No,
but yeah, man, when you were there training with some of those guys, did you see from the training that you got here in Australia and what the performance was here, was it night and day difference there at the time?
Apples and oranges. It was different. Look, Mark Mercedes was probably the closest. That's just in my opinion. He had that Malenko lineage. Before I went to Heartland, I went to I got trained when I went to the States, I went to Bobby Blaze, and he was a WCW wrestler. He was very underrated talent, Smoky Mountain champion. And they had that Kentucky, style of wrestling, Rock and Roll Express, but they were trained by the Malenkos. Then when I went to HWA, that was very much where those, that's where I met Cody, and the rest is history for that.
Was it like the difference between the two promotions there? Was it, the HWA was more of the modern sort of style of wrestling that was sort of evolving at the time?
Correct. Yeah. No, they had a little slogan. It was like setting the standards for indie wrestling, and that's what it was. We had just so many guys that did so many. We had the Irish Airborne as well, the OVE. You know what I mean? They were incredible guys. We just had so many guys that you just had to compete with, and you really had to be good. But they were really good.
Yeah. And I think when you're around that and you're training like consistently and you having shows with these guys, it only forces you to get better and pick things up a lot quicker.
You've got no choice. You really don't. When you're and I was training there quite regularly. That's what I recommended to anybody that came into the business. Go overseas. Go overseas, train there on a regular basis, learn from these top guys. The more training you get, the better you're going to get. It's pretty simple theory, and it's amazing what you can pick up. I went from a guy when I first started, I was just doing moves. I had like a move set, this move, that move, this move. And when I went to the States, the whole mindset completely changed. I went back to Australia, and I didn't have a move set. I don't have a move set. I've just learned so many small little moves that I'll do throughout the match. Or if there's something I want to try now, I'll give it a go. You know what I mean? So things just you first start, you're nervous. Now it's just so easy that there's no such thing as being nervous. It's just fun when you go out there. You have too much. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And I think now, like where you're at with the business, being the veteran of most locker rooms that you're in, it's like, I think it probably a lot of the younger guys that are nervous would probably look at you for that sort of like confidence almost to sort of go out there and perform,
Yeah. Look, and also too, it gets harder to perform, especially when you get into my age. And then you got to try and keep up with these younger guys, and it's one of those things where you really do have to try to up the level and try and help these guys as much as you can, especially when you're out there. Yeah, I think that's really important because you want everybody to be good. You know what I mean? You want everybody to have good matches, but it's not always about sometimes having a good match. Sometimes doing your job right. You know what I mean? There's a job. It doesn't have to be a 5-star match, but it's a job. You're doing a certain, a skit in the ring, or something. A match is like a 2-minute match, or as long as you're doing your job right, that's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the ultimate is making sure you're getting the match over, getting yourself over, and your opponent over, and that's job accomplished.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, that's my mindset as a heel. As a heel, I love the Ric Flair, the Tully Blanchard mentality, where you got to get that baby face over as much as you can. You know what I mean? It's all about making yourself look pretty much like an idiot. Reversing everything. It's one of those things where I think that wrestling today, they don't do enough reversals. Especially when they're working. I think personally they should. When you're working as a heel, try and be a bit more less cool. But that's just my opinion. Try and be a bit less cool. Don't be scared to look like a dick. Don't be scared to try stuff. Don't be scared to not do any moves. I go out there and as a heel not do anything and just take bump after bump after bump. That's just pretty much a simple match. It's not a 5-star match, but it's enough to get the crowd, going and riled and getting everyone over. So
Oh, 100%. And it's, and I think as well, like, by going out there and putting that on and, heels as well, I think in today's sort of style of wrestling, it's like, it's almost cool to go out there and be a bad guy, like, the one, and I put Adam Cole, who on NXT, when he's a heel, he's going out there doing the Adam Cole baby and having the crowd chant. It's like, are you really a heel? Like,
Exactly, right?
you know what I mean? Like which story are you trying to tell? It's little things that I think, and I even mentioned this before, like when I watched a show and they had the cruiserweight champion at the time on NXT. He's the heel. He's got the heel stable. He wins the big match, and then as he's coming back, his son comes out and does a pose with him and puts the belt on his son, and I'm like, that's a straight out baby face gimmick,
Exactly.
bro. Like, what the
Exactly.
fuck?
Exactly. Exactly. You got to be careful. Like, you got to be careful. Even with my character, there's times we've walked out and it's like, oh man, are they starting to cheer us? Okay, we're doing something wrong here. You know what I mean? So yeah, you always have to be careful with that type of stuff.
But like with your character now, like you could easily go either way, baby face or heel with it, depending on just the little nuances with it, really, because it's like you wouldn't have to change it all that much.
I do. For certain companies, I wrestle as a babyface, IWA, and most of the time I'm a heel. It's one of those things where I just don't know what I'm going to be. As in which company I'm going to be working for, what type of, if I'm going to be heel or babyface, and then you just got to work to that character. So yeah, it can change.
What do you like to work most, the heel or baby?
Well, I worked heel to get into this character. Most people they weren't going to let me do it unless I actually became a heel. I love working as a baby because I'm a natural baby face. But everybody's coming up with too many cool moves, so I don't know if I can keep up anymore. I don't know if an arm drag, a hip toss will work, maybe a drop kick. So,
yeah, but I think as well, like some of the biggest baby faces haven't really needed to be do crazy shit to get themselves over either. You know what I mean?
No. You look at all the big names. You know what I mean? They're not the most technical wrestlers ever. They're just big guys. They have charisma. They do a couple moves, and they know how to speak. So that's what really gets you over at the end of the day. That's what really draws the money.
Well, that's it doesn't matter if you can work. It's like, I once heard, Triple H say, someone goes, what do you look for in talent? They have to be a good wrestler. He goes, no, they don't even have to fucking know how to wrestle. He goes, we can teach them that shit. But exactly. If they're marketable, they understand social media, they look good, they can talk, they can, if they have these other contributions, the wrestling's fucking like, that's the last thing they worry about. It's like, it's pretty funny to hear that the guy, who's like one of the main guys in charge of the biggest wrestling promotions in the world says that.
Yeah. Do you remember the Boogie Woogie Man, Johnny Valiant?
Yeah. I remember
like if you watch his matches, right, they go so quick. And there isn't a lot of effort into the actual wrestling side of things. But my God, he can get a crowd popping. He's just, claps his way, and he's just constantly doing this and, doing this. And he's just incredible. It's like, man, how does one do nothing and actually get the most reaction? So, yeah, he's got that less is more. Exactly.
Hulk Hogan, prime example, big boot, leg drop, go over. Yeah, let's go, brother.
He would have been the easiest to work. He would have been so easy to work. Yeah.
100%. It's just, you knew he was going over. This is what he was going to do. It's
exactly. And then he's going to make you the most money. That's for sure.
100%. 100%. But as far as like when you started back in the early days of your career, how did you find when you actually were in the business and like learning the ropes? Was it like did it come naturally to you, the in-ring sort of stuff?
It was the only thing that ever made me feel comfortable, professional wrestling. So when did I start? 1999. It was the only thing that really was one of the things that I was hooked straight away. So it was very natural to me. I picked it up within 3-4 months. Mark Mercedes had the confidence in me to start wrestling matches, start throwing, titles at me. Within the year, I had IWA Heavyweight Championship. So I caught on pretty quick. I was one of the lucky ones that I understood it. I wasn't a big mark for the business, but I enjoyed watching it, whenever I saw it. So I didn't actually, go searching for it. But it was just one of those things. It was just so comfortable for me.
And how did you find IWA and Mercedes? Like, as you said, you weren't like a huge mark for it, but you were like, yeah, you're cool with it.
I thought it was. I thought this is the best thing. I just got professional wrestling. I just got a call up. Wow, I'm gonna do so much with this company. And it was such a great experience, traveling the road with everybody. We had a really crazy crew at the time, and we it's not like the today's crew. I mean, we did a lot of drinking. The emphasis was more on the drinking and the partying than the wrestling. Now you go out and you have a match. Oh, cool, you good match. You talk about your match. Oh, that was a great move. You start. We didn't talk about that. You know what I mean? We go out and we just talk shit, and we talk about all our fuck ups. We talk about anybody that fucked up in the match and how funny it was when they fell awkwardly or something. It's just some shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was those small imperfections that we had in pro wrestling. That was fun.
But IWA back then was like a close knit little team. You know what I mean? Like, and even Mark Mercedes said this. It was like a footy team. They had their 13, 14 guys. They would go. You guys would go put on at shows, and the shows were always fun and entertaining to watch. They're just wild.
Yeah, we were loyal too. We couldn't go anywhere. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't wrestle for any other promotion. It was kind of taboo, to wrestle for other people or to do anything else, but we didn't need to. Mark was paying us pretty well. He always paid for accommodation, and also too, we always had regular shows. So we had at one stage he was doing 2 shows a week. Then he'd do a tour. And then, it got to the stage of just one show. Sorry, not 2 shows a week, 1 show a month. And then, we do it every second month. And then, but they're just regular, you know what I mean? We do a tour. The tours are the best, where we do 5-6 days.
The country tours.
Yeah, So, but that was, wow, it was so much fun. So much fun.
And it was back at a time where it was almost like the early 2000s was a wild time to be alive in general, and put a bunch of pro wrestlers together, like how you guys were, man. Like, I was at a lot of the shows back then with a buddy of mine who wrestled with you guys, and Big Matty, yeah, that's it. And some of the stories and some of the things that I would see going on, man, it was just always a wild, fun time, and always great to be around, man.
You can't really talk about these stories in this day and age. That you know what I mean? If we go across and we talk privately, we can do that. But it's one of those things that it's just taboo now. You know what I mean?
100%, bro. Cancel culture will get onto us, and we'll be disconnected quickly, man. I'm sure, but but as far as wrestling, then and compared to now, what do you enjoy more? Like, which generation have you had the most fun with?
Wow. Yeah, look, I'm still enjoying it. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. I'm hooked on it. I always would have to go back to the original cast that I had, because I was younger, I was vibrant, I used to move a lot better. We had the Mark Mercedes, the Brett Brady's, the Billy Coles, Phil Picasso was a lot younger back then, believe it or not. We had Jason Helton, Scarecrow, Tyson Gibbs. We had really good bunch of guys. You know what I mean? Sorry if I missed anybody, but yeah, we just had. It was we're all growing. We're all young. We're all the same age. Kind of like what PWA now. They're all like roughly around the same age, and they're growing old together. We grew old together. You know what I mean? So we had a crazy bunch of guys, and all characters. Oh,
Mike. 100%. And everyone was all different. And one of the names that you touched on was Billy Cole, and you guys were paired together quite a fair bit in the early days of both of your careers. Really, like I think you guys came up around similar sort of times, maybe 6 months to a year apart. I'm not too sure on that, but you know, as far as like wrestling with him, you guys seem to go out there and almost for quite a while now on the cards, it was like you versus him, whether you're flipping the title back and forth or just even having just a single one-on-one match with him. How much of an influence was he on your career? Because he was a hell of a performer.
Yeah, no, he was that good. He could have gone. He could have gone very far with the business if he really wanted to. He was that good. He helped me out in so many ways. He taught me all the small stuff. We're able to. He taught me how to express myself freely out there rather than be so regimented. Have a few minor spots here and there, but he was just such a natural. You know what I mean? He was one of those guys that really doesn't get talked about that much, but he definitely he made me look good for a number of years. So he doesn't get really the praise he deserves, but he was fantastic.
And that's the thing, man. Like I speak to a lot of people and have said, you know, Aussie wrestling has always been good. There's always been good wrestling. And I refer back to, you know, IWA in some of those early days, you know, matches with yourself, Mark, you know, Billy Cole, AJ Freely, and guys of that nature, that you guys were putting on some amazing matches, and you know, matches that any of you guys could have gone up to that level, you know. And I think that guys these days, you know, that having Australia getting the exposure now that it has, it's great to see. But Australian wrestling has been good for years. Like, you know, people don't need to get twisted.
And it's just basically being in the public eye. See, we didn't have the social media. You know, if we wanted to ever make the you know, WWE for a tryout, we used to send a tape in. You might get an email 3 months later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now they're constantly looking at you. You know, that you don't actually have to physically go there anymore. You can just show your, you know, what you're doing, your highlights, your interviews, and you know, the way that you guys in this day and age, the way they do their promos is just ridiculous. You know, it's quality filming. It's definitely it's like watching a movie. You know, so it can make you know, the worst wrestler look amazing. You know, the videos that they're putting out. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, with all the gimmick filters and stuff, bro. Like,
I think it's just ridiculous. We wouldn't know what to do back then. You know what I mean? But yeah.
But I think as well, like you see with social media now, like wrestlers are using that to their advantage, whether it be storyline or interaction with fans, whatever it may be. But like I've seen like companies, I think IWA does this really well, as they'll use social media to build a storyline for a show. Whereas before, like there wasn't really much in the way of storylines. Like it was like you tell a story for the show, and then it's like,
no, there's a 6-man tag match at the end. They already wrestled. Those guys already wrestled before, and 6-man tag.
Yeah, heels over strong, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, as far as like, you know, yourself now, like, you know, do you have any goals left in wrestling that you want to achieve?
I do. I have a longevity goal. I really want to keep going. My body's pretty good. I want to wrestle top guys. You know, that's always what I've wanted to do. I've never shied away from a top guy. People get nervous and people go, "Oh my God, I'm wrestling this guy." I don't get that way. I thrive on it. You know, I start to I start to foam from my mouth, thinking, okay, I'm going to have a fun, a good match, because I'm wrestling a guy that can work, in opposed to someone you're pulling teeth. It's So I do look forward to that. That's my main goal right now. I'm probably too. Am I too old? Am I too old to say that I can to go places? I don't know. I
don't think so, man. I think it depends on gimmick. It depends on the condition you're in, which you look like you're in good shape. You got a good gimmick. I mean, there's definitely if you can put the asses in the seats, and I think that's always going to be a thing that's going to give you a draw.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Exactly.
But like you mentioned as well, like how you're holding up, physically for it. But how long do you see yourself continuing to do it for?
Probably as long as Terry Funk did. Pretty soon I'll be doing matches. I'll be doing a moonsault off a ladder. I'll be doing that type of stuff. I'll be using gimmicks a lot more. I'll be branding people. So I still haven't got to the fun stuff yet. So I honestly I don't know. I really don't know. I think a lot of people do. Once you get to my age, you have a love-hate relationship with the business. You're hooked no matter what. You know what I mean? But you have a love-hate relationship, like going back to an ex-girlfriend that it's like an ex-girlfriend. You go back, but you don't know why you go back, and then there is some sort of excitement, and there's not, and it's just the way pro wrestling is. But yeah, look, if I wrestle younger guys, or if they put me they put me in an interesting storyline, or they get me doing something fun. I guess if the performance is there and I can still do it, that's what motivates me right now. So, and also too. I love seeing the younger guys come up, and I love seeing them step up. I love seeing them knock it out of the park, because a lot of these guys now they do some crazy stuff that I've never even seen before, like very innovative. So,
have you ever thought about starting up your own shop and training guys and having your own promotion?
Yeah, not my own promotion. Promoting is extremely hard. I would not recommend that to anybody. But as a trainer, hell yeah, I'd love to train people. I'm very passionate about it. And that's the thing. People want to do professional wrestling because there's a bit of glitz and glamour, and it's fun. But are they really passionate about the actual business? I've always been very passionate. I'd love to train people. I do see a lot of companies that train people, and I watch a lot of videos of people that train people. And I'm in awe with a lot of the actual guys that train their guys, and they're just really. It's good to see this young talent just come up, and they're stepping up, and they're becoming the wrestlers they are today.
Oh, absolutely. And I think as long as, people are going there and they're getting trained by reputable guys, like yourself would be someone who's reputable, your credentials speak for themselves, but, also to be careful of some of the shysters that are out there in pro wrestling, because there's still some out there, I'm sure that,
there's a lot out there. There's a lot out there. It hasn't changed. I don't know if it will change.
You know what? I don't know, man. I think the carniness of pro wrestling is always going to be there, man. You just got to, you've got to have that understanding of it.
That's an IWA show. We used to do the agricultural shows. That was one of those deals. That was fun.
Yeah.
Wrestling in front of 10 people in the middle of a cow paddock. Oh my God, that's not something that was motivating. But
I remember
it was
the Easter
still
shows.
fun. It's very, very, very laughable.
Yeah, I remember the shows at the Easter show that you guys used to put on as well.
Yeah, they were good. They were real good. Those ones,
Yeah. Did you find it hard wrestling in front of fans? Like, I think people like say at the Easter show that may not actually be wrestling fans. Like, is it hard to wrestle in front of people that aren't? I don't want to say marks, but aren't fans for the business?
Well, no, I actually find that a lot easier because of the fact that my style is a lot more simpler, and you you connect more with those type of crowds. You know, they become much more invested. Where you wrestle people that are marks, you got to really try so hard to pull out that, you know, that great match, and they understand certain things and certain psychology and certain things that you don't do. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that, because I see a lot of guys. The thing with these young talented guys is they perform in front of the same crowd. And then I've seen quite a few of them wrestle in front of a crowd that has never seen them before, and the crowd doesn't respond to them because they haven't connected with them. So it's one of those things where they haven't learned how to adjust to a different crowd. So, yeah, I was all for that. I really enjoyed doing that type of stuff.
How hard is that to adjust to a different crowd? Like, you know, if guys used to wrestling in front of like a PG audience and then goes to more of a mature audience type of show, how do people adjust to that? Is there a lot of adjustment that goes into it?
Well, it does, because let's just say if you wrestle in front of a regular crowd, like a storyline crowd, you really go out there and they can cheer or boo you, like depending on what character you are and what the storyline is. It's easy. Where you actually, if they don't know you, you got to go out there and work. So you got to go out there and try and perform. You got to get the crowd going. You know, you got to really. It's a lot more effort, and a lot of these guys haven't. A lot of these guys don't actually go out there and connect with the crowd. You know, and that's the problem that you have when you're too used to wrestling in front of the exact same audience. You know what I mean? The wrestling's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the wrestling, but it's just connecting with that crowd. That's really what's pretty much important.
Oh, absolutely. And I think as well, like a non-wrestling fan crowd, if someone went out there and did like a lot of high spots flying around and stuff like that, do you think that would be go over their head, or do you think that would be more of like a holy shit, what a spectacle?
Well, let's go to the last show that we just did. You're on the show. I thought that Jay Sorbet and Otis, they had a great match. They had a more of an impact type of match, and the crowd thrived on it. You know what I mean? So I guess that answers your question there. They really enjoyed it. They really thought, wow, look, these guys are just, they're doing big moves, but they still had, a certain sense of psychology about it. But it was probably, I guess it was the match of the night, the Mene show. So, yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that was, and I think it was the first match. It was early on the card, and
yeah, I just listened to the crowd. They're just pumping. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. But how do you prepare for shows now? Like, do you have any sort of pre-match rituals that you do?
Yeah, I do this, and I go, yeah, well, let's go. We're going out there. That's it.
So there's no pre-match rituals.
I'm more of a laugh. I go out there and say something stupid. I just talk. I'm more of a goof backstage. I don't. I've never, and that's just me, I've never understood why people get nervous and they get, really pumped up. And I've never understood that. I've just, I'm pretty relaxed. I like to have a giggle before a show. There's times when music playing, I'm still in the toilet. Oh, I gotta go. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I don't know. It's because I'm so comfortable out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm so relaxed. And I guess it comes down to the fundamentals. Once you learn all those basic moves in wrestling, you'll never get lost out there. You know what I mean? As in, not that you won't blow a spot, but you'll always come back to something. You'll always fix something up because you've got that background about you. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I do preach is you make sure you have those fundamentals down packed. Because when you do mess up a spot, you can fix it, or when you do get lost, you can fix it. It's something that everyone should be doing.
Oh, 100%, man. And, we were talking about that last show and even your name that you've got here tonight, before the show, I came up to you and I said, hey, man, any specific instructions? And introduce me as the man with the 3 largest legs in Australian professional wrestling. And I looked at you, I was like, bro, are you working? Yeah. And then like just before I went out, Sammy goes, "You good?" And I go, "Hey, just a quick one. He wants me to do this." And I go, "That's cool, right?" And he's like, yeah, whatever Robbie says, man, that's fine. Yeah. Wait, he didn't say anything about his cock, did he? I said, no, just the. He goes, no, that's fine.
Yeah, I didn't say
like, are you working me?
Exactly. No, I wasn't working you, actually. You actually asked me a serious question. I gave you a serious answer. So, yeah.
Well, next time, man, I'll make sure to get the whole spiel down and give you a proper intro, man. It'd be fun to do.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Like I said, I'm in it for a laugh.
Oh, 100%, man. But look, guys, it is getting to that time of the show where we are going to kick off the game 60 seconds with Pierce. I have explained to Robbie how this is going to go down. He's got 60 seconds to answer as many questions that I'm going to fire at him. We're going to go pretty wild with these questions. When you're ready, Robbie, you give me the go and I'll start the timer.
Hey.
Okay. How old were you when you found out about Santa Claus?
There's no Santa Claus?
Oh, if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
3. Goofy, intelligent, and smart. Oh, sorry, same thing.
Would you rather win $10 million or live for twice as long?
I'll live for twice as long.
In 5 minutes, you're being shipped to outer space. What 2 personal belongings do you take with you?
Oh, God. I take my wine and I take my salami.
Home barbecues or nightclubs?
Oh, man, nightclubs any day.
If Robbie Zuko came with a warning label, what would it be?
Stay away at all times.
If you could sit down and have a beer with Vince McMahon, what question would you ask him?
What would I ask him? My God. Can I be with your daughter?
Oh wow! No holding back. What is the wildest? What is the wildest, weirdest thing you've ever eaten? I'm afraid to even ask that.
No comment.
And that is it. 60 seconds with Pierce. Robbie, thank you, man, for coming on, bro. This has been an absolute pleasure. Man, I'd love to have you on again. You've got an open invitation anytime you want to come back on the show, brother. It's been an absolute blast. But man, where can everyone find you and follow you on social media, bro?
Where you can find me? Live in La Vida Loca 79 on Instagram. Robert Agresta at Facebook. Yeah, that's basically it.
There you go, guys. Thank you very much for coming on, Robbie. It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you for everyone who tuned in live and for everyone who checked it out after we did it live. But guys, huge shout out to our sponsors, The Wrestling Universe, healthvape.com and sleeps.com. So make sure you go and check out our amazing sponsors. Links are in the description below. Use promo code MWA pod to get 10% off your final purchase. And guys, make sure you check out our social media at MWA World on Twitter and on Instagram to keep up to speed with all of our shows that we are going out live. But make sure you tune in tomorrow at 9 a.m. Australian time, which is 7 p.m. American Eastern, for Get Funked with former WCW star Alan Kiwi Funk. His guest will be Mark Jindrak, so make sure you tune in for that. And guys, till next time, we'll see you very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.